Welcome back to the NFL Alumni's continuing coverage of Super Bowl 59. I'm Bram Weinstein. We're presented by Pacera, transforming how the world treats pain. And joining us now on behalf of Boehringer and Lilly's It Takes Two Health Initiative, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Eagles legend, Brian Dawkins. Great to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me back, brother.
We'll get into some football in a bit, but why don't you tell us about the initiative that you're working on?
Yeah, so first of all, blessed to be able to team up with Boehringer and Lilly with this tremendous campaign. It hits home with me first, right? So one of the things about the It Takes Two campaign is that it takes two tests, a urine test and a blood test, to see if you're going down the path of developing chronic kidney disease. Now, the parameters of that is if you're type 2 diabetic and then you have high blood pressure. Both of my parents have it. So it hits home with me first because I wanted to make sure that they get these tests, which, I've already talked to them and we're going on that path when it comes to that. But if I can then use my platform to then announce that and to share this with everybody else so that they're not going down the path. Man, the numbers are crazy that like 35 million people could potentially have it, and a great majority of them do not, right? One of the things, obviously, as a professional athlete, I've been very proactive with my health. And so this is what this is about. It takes two, your team being proactive to make sure that you're in a good space. And the early catches are the key in all of these things.
Can you talk more about the experience with your parents, having lived with this?
Yeah, so the things that I experienced with them as far as them trying to manage what it is they have as far as the high blood pressure, is something that is probably not foreign to a lot of people, right? Yeah. And how they went about doing it. But the key for me is if I can then give them things now because I know more now so that they can do things better than they did, right? That's, to me, that's the more empowering way to look at this thing, right? It's not about those things that you saw, but it's, okay, now that I know this information, how can I then empower individuals to make better decisions about their health going forward?
Yeah. All right, here we are, Super Bowl week. Yeah. What memories drum up for you when you return and get set to see the Super Bowl? And obviously, your team is in it this year, so it must be interesting.
So it's different things come to mind. Obviously, me playing in the Super Bowl, but also me as an executive, right? We played in the Super Bowl that year. I was introduced into the Hall of Fame that year, and then we won the Super Bowl that same weekend, right? So all of those different feel-good memories start rushing back to me of the opportunity to play in the game. We lost, but to play in the game and then to have that opportunity to obviously be voted into the Hall of Fame with the Eagles winning the next day. Yeah, pretty sweet.
It is. Their organization is one of the most consistent here for 25 years running. The teams you were on when Andy Reid was coaching and dominant, winning divisions, getting far in the playoffs, changing coaches multiple times, changing rosters multiple times, and still having this kind of success. It really is a remarkable run for the organization.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to give a lot of credit, to Mr. Lurie at the top, right, of the individuals that he's brought in to help evaluate the talent. I know, Howard hired a lot of those guys, but they do a great job of evaluating talent in that building. One of the things I was blessed to do as an executive is be able to see behind the scenes of all of the members and the conversations they have, the in-depth conversations that they have about specific talent. And so I know that when Howie picks those guys, that those individuals have been vetted. They have been, screened. They have been, scouted. All of those things, so that when they come into the Philadelphia Eagles, that it's believed that they'll be able to have success in Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia is a different spot. Yeah. Like, not everybody can have success in Philadelphia, right? Yeah. There's a level of tough skin that you need to have, right, to be able to perform there. And so to be able to. And obviously it's not a 100% thing. They don't always have success. But for the most part, they've been able to find those individuals, those guys, and those coaches that can coach in a place that is as demanding as Philadelphia is.
Yeah, and you were part of what are teams that were great. How do you kind of think about greatness now, especially when people talk about the Chiefs and how much they've accomplished, and in some cases fatigue over what they've done and how much they've won? How do you think about greatness now in the NFL?
Well, I mean, that's so greatness is not a 1 year thing. Greatness is not even a 2 year thing, right? Greatness is when you can do a specific thing on a regular basis over and over and over and over and over, year in and year out. So a lot of times people have.
It's harder than it probably looks.
It's
right?
extremely hard. Like so here's the thing. Like you never know what happens every year. You think that just because you had this success that year. I mean, Jim Johnson said this to us. He said we will never be the same defense going into the next year. He would always say that we're going to either be better or we're going to be worse. Right? You're not going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So there's no happy medium. There's no floating through stuff. So there is greatness. In order to be great, you have to kind of fall in love with being uncomfortable, because you got to push yourself. Like there's a level of, okay, I did this thing, okay, but how can I get better? What is it? What are the areas of that I need to get better in to make sure that I'm not just doing that thing well, but I'm also doing these other things well? So again, to me, I'm kind of going into different spheres, but like when I hear,
Hall of Fame, the only way you would have done that is if you would continue to grow.
When I hear greatness, man, I just think about all of the details behind the scenes that people don't think about. But again, ultimately, it's about what you do consistently year in and year out.
There's a new class going into the Hall of Fame. It must be special for you every year now to see who joins you there.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about new classes going into the Hall of Fame?
No, the story that person is about to tell. Like, and I know they've condensed the time, they don't get a chance to say, but to hear the stories of guys, of their journey to get to the point to where they are as Hall of Famers, and all the people that have blessed them along the way. You know, I'm anxious to hear the stories of these gentlemen.
All right, last thing, and you'll have to indulge me on this. I've always just wanted to know this. You have one of the greatest nicknames of all time. Where did Weapon X come from?
Wolverine. That's Marvel. That's the Marvel universe.
When did it start, though?
Man, that started. I've been collecting like Wolverines for a long time. But it started that they began to talk about it more and understand that it is what. So I called myself Idiot Man at first. I would call myself Idiot Man, and then that part of me also then became AKA Weapon X or Wolverine, and because I had all those figurines in my locker. The year we went and played the Rams in the NFC Championship game, they did a huge story about it. They invited Marvel Comics to come in. They drew me as Wolverine, right? So that really became the launch of the Weapon X, persona, if you will.
It's rare that you give yourself your own nickname and it sticks. That's amazing.
But the key to it though is that if you know anything about Wolverine, he can be used in any area to be effective in what he did. And the saying goes is what he does is not nice, right? So it fits. Like Jim Johnson used me all over the field as a weapon, right? And what I did is not nice. It was not nice.
It was not.
So it fit.
As somebody from Washington, it was not nice. Trust me. Brian, it's great seeing you. Thank you so much.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
God bless you.